I'm Sam.
And this is Gabe.
And this is Coaster Wars.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Coaster Wars podcast, where today we're getting old. I don't know how else to say. We are getting old, aren't we?
We are. We actually are. Well, we can't do parks all day long and just marathon roller coasters anymore, and I need like a midday coffee to make it through. That's how you know you're getting old.
Yeah, you really need to get that figured out, honestly. I'm doing great. I can just hammer roller coasters.
Oh,
but...
whatever. I just don't have your stamina. Get out of here.
All right, so today we are talking about coasters that are over 100 years old. I love history, so this will be a really, really fun episode.
Oh, sorry. I thought you were going to say more than that.
No, yes. That's all I had.
It is kind of insane to think about that there are operating roller coasters out there that are 100 years old or over 100 years old. And we have actually ridden a lot of them, and we have actually ridden some of the oldest in the United States when we really get into it. But before we talk about coasters built in the 1920s, since I was like, well, how did we get there? Like, what led up to us actually building some of these crazy machines that I do not think should have existed in the 1920s? I decided to do a little bit of research into like basic roller coaster history, and I figure I could give us a quick rundown. And I mean, like, this is very, like, surface. I went to the Wikipedia page and kind of made my own synopsis. But roller coaster history actually began in the 1700s as ice slides, of all things, in Russia. And they're exactly what they sound like. They're basically hills made out of ice that were reinforced with wood, where you would ride down them in a cart or a sled. And of course, these were winter attractions. So this led to summer versions with wheels and tracks, and that kind of just like slowly grew bigger and bigger and bigger. We transitioned into ones with hills and eventually full circuit versions. A lot of these were just like a cart that rode down on one side, and then it was transitioned to a return track on the other side that brought the rider back up to the top. And believe it or not, from there in the 1800s, we then get our first roller coasters with loops. Which
yes,
it's actually insane to me.
It was a wooden coaster, correct?
Yeah, it was a wooden coaster.
Yes.
I don't remember what the name of it was, but in the beginning, these actually pulled too many G's and gave riders whiplash, and they were quickly dismantled. They did not exist for very long. But the real breakthrough in roller coaster is one of the longest operating roller coasters ever, Leap the Dips at Lakemont Park in Pennsylvania.
Now, it's technically closed now, correct?
I think so, yeah. Like, looking up the history, it'll operate for a few years and then be down for a few years and then operate again for a few years. So, and I think it just recently...
You're talking about Mount Clemens Park, right?
I have it Lakemont Park, but maybe the park has changed names.
There's two of them at both.
Oh.
Let's see. Oh, yeah, I see what you're talking about, because it opened in 1902, and then it closed. And then it opened in 1937. Then it operated for a significant amount of time. Then it closed from 86 to 98.
Yep.
And then it operated from 99 to 2016. Then it closed again, and then it operated from 2020 to 2023. So the other one, and I'm curious, because I do know that the Mount Clemens Park one is the one that opened around 1911. So the Mount Clemens Park one was the older one, but that one probably just doesn't exist anymore, I would think.
Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah.
So yes, so the one that I'm talking about, the one at Lakemont Park, originally opened in 1902. Yep, 1902. And it was operating through the years. And like Gabe just said there, it just recently operated from 2020 to 2023. So who knows, maybe in a couple of years here, it'll open back up. But this was the first roller coaster to feature what are side friction wheels. And if you look at any modern day roller coaster, what they're going to have is they're going to have the regular carrier wheels that sit on top of the track. And then they're going to have what we call upstop wheels, which are on the bottom. And then they have the side friction ones that sit on the sides of the rails.
It is technically a National Historic Landmark.
Ooh.
Sorry, I'm just kind of, now I'm on this topic. So... It is a National Historic Landmark. It is still standing. However, it is in very much disarray and needs a lot of help.
Okay.
Apparently, there is a petition out there to refurbish. Basically, whoever owns the park, I don't know, whoever owns Lakemont Park, basically just shut down the park, is no longer operating it, but won't sell it.
Oh.
So there's a petition for them to sell it to the state of Pennsylvania
Oh, okay.
and basically refurbish the roller coaster and reopen it. There's a huge push to reopen this roller coaster because, like you said, at the time, it was the oldest operating roller coaster in the U.S.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, a coaster that opened in 1902, that's like 130 years old almost. Like,
Yeah.
so that's insane. So there is push to reopen the coaster, but the current pictures this is a very dilapidated roller coaster at this point. Like, there's a picture of the lift hill, and it's like the top of it's kind of crooked and like it's like wavy and stuff. So
Yeah.
it does need a lot of repair to become an operable coaster again. But there is efforts, whether those are foreseen or not are two different things, but there is
Right.
efforts to get the coaster back open.
That'd be really cool. I think it would be really cool,
That would be
especially
really
for
cool.
history buffs like us and whatnot. And the thing is like wooden roller coasters to get it nice and refurbished and looking all nice and get it repainted. Oh, it would be so freaking cool.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
So that was a major breakthrough in roller coasters was the side carrier wheels. So further innovation came in 1919 with the development of what I was calling those upstop wheels or up friction wheels. We have a couple different names for them, but they were invented by John A. Miller. He is when you look up a lot of these roller coasters, and I'll when we go through our list, we'll say this, but he designed a lot of them. And it's like he worked for a while with PTC, which is Philadelphia Toboggan Company. You hear us mention them a lot, especially with wooden coasters, because they, even if they're built by a different company, a lot of times will run PTC trains nowadays. But he is the one who came up with the
So
upstop wheels. Go ahead.
PTC still exists as a company. They just don't really build roller coasters anymore. That's a
Yeah.
common misconception. A lot of people don't think that PTC exists. No, PTC is still an operating company in the modern 2025 era. They just really don't construct roller coasters anymore. They basically just build trains. And that's
Okay.
because there's so many coasters out there that are still operating that need these parts and need these trains to run. So, like,
Hmm.
a good example would be Comet at Hershey Park.
Yep.
So they got brand new trains last year. You remember that?
Yep.
They
Yep.
got rid of those are still PTC trains, even though they're brand new.
Yes. When we
So
talk about all three of the Woodies at Holiday World run PTC trains.
yeah, that's insane, by the way.
Yeah.
But there is some funny things behind that because they tried to run a different style train on the voyage. There was a time period where it ran, I don't know if it was GCI or who made, I think it was actually Gravity Group tried to put their trains on it.
Uh-huh.
Their trains couldn't handle the forces. So that is kind of funny that this company has been building roller coaster trains since the early 1900s is still outclassing modern roller coaster engineering. It's
Yes.
hilarious, actually.
It is actually hilarious. So in 1919, we had the creation of the upstop wheels, and it really allowed wooden roller coasters to maybe be a little bit more intense. And from here, we get full circuit thrill rides that are known as roller coasters that were popping up everywhere. And that's kind of where we start getting these 1920s roller coasters. And I noticed going through my credit card, I was like, there will be like coasters from the 1920s, and then all of a sudden like everything after that will be like the 60s or the 70s. We have maybe a couple in there that were like smattered about that were maybe the 40s or the 50s, and I'm like, I wonder why that is. And then I was reading through the Wikipedia article, and I was
World
like,
War
oh,
One and
e-
World War Two.
well, and the Great Depression.
Oh yeah, I
Yeah,
suppose.
so like a whole maelstrom of where people did not have extra money to spend on going to theme parks, and companies themselves then also did not have money to build new roller
I
coasters.
suppose if you really think about the time period of the 1920s, it's known as the Roaring Twenties, and
Yep.
that's because America as a whole was being fairly successful. So that makes sense that people were seeking, like, because that's like, too, like people talk about like just amusement parks in general kind of started. Like even Cedar Point started in like the 40s or something like that as a
Yep.
just like a beach destination getaway in the summer. So like that actually makes sense that during this time period is where you see a lot of these coasters start popping up because people A had free time and B had money to spend. So now
Mm-hmm.
you're trying to capitalize on both of those of being available. So that actually makes sense. And then obviously in the 1940s you have World War One and then World War Two, and then everybody was at war basically and didn't have any money to spend, or
Yep.
they were not even in the country.
Yep.
So that does
Yes.
make sense that there is a lot of these from the 1920s, and then there's a big gap.
After that, so that's, just really basic, very basic overview of roller coaster history and how we ended up here. And so then I also wanted to look up what the top 5 oldest operating, putting that little caveat there, operating roller coasters in the world were. And this is also specifically Woody's.
Side question: are they all Woodies?
These ones all are. I do not know if there is an older steel roller coaster that
Well,
is operating.
the first one would have been the Matterhorn at Disney World, correct? Or
I think
Disneyland?
so. Yeah.
But like Steel, I suppose Arrow and Schwarzkopf were like the first. All right, now I'm curious. What was the first Schwarzkopf roller coaster? Sorry, you can go ahead. This is going
That's
to take
okay.
me a minute. So,
So the top 5 oldest wooden operating roller coasters in the world. The first 2 are not in the United States. The first one is the Scenic Railway, built in 1912 at Luna Park, Melbourne, Australia. The next one, and I'm going to butcher this so hard, is the Rutsjebanen. It was built in 1914 at Tivoli Gardens in Denmark, and that's why I butchered it. But the next 3 are operating in the United States. So number 3 on this list, and B and Gabe have actually ridden all 3 of these. So the oldest one is ride. It was called Giant Coaster, built in 1907 at Paragon Park in the US. It was then moved to Six Flags America, renamed Wild One, and me and Gabe wrote it when we went to Six Flags America. Unfortunately, I do think this park or this roller coaster is going to be no longer operating because Six Flags America did close, and I don't think they're going to bother moving this guy, unfortunately. But number 4 is Jackrabbit, built in 1920 at Kennywood. And then number 5 is the roller coaster, built in 1921 at Lagoon. So I do think it's really cool that we've actually been on the 3 oldest wooden roller coasters in the United States. Did you find any
yeah, that
answer,
is.
Gabe?
I did. So, the first aerodynamics roller coaster is the Matterhorn bobsleds, which opened in 1959.
Okay.
The first production Schwarzkopf roller coaster was 1964.
Okay.
So that is still, I still believe that the aerodynamics Matterhorn bobsled is the first coaster to use the tubular steel track design, which is why all of these roller coasters that we're talking about are wooden roller coasters, because
Hmm.
steel coasters didn't exist yet.
Yes.
So that answers my question.
That's okay.
That was another ooh shiny moment, but you know,
Welcome
we're
to
gonna have
our
to like make
podcast.
that yeah, we're gonna have to like to make shirts that say ooh shiny
Shiny
moment or something like
point.
that, or inconsistently consistent or whatever. We're gonna have to make some shirts or something. I don't know.
Exactly. Well, it's so we have those two, but then I also do the thing where when a roller coaster is completely insane, I'm like, it's dumb for no
It's
reason.
dumb. It's dumb for no reason.
Yeah. We'll have to start making shirts. I'll be on it. I'll design us something. Got it.
I do like to use the word violent a lot.
Yes, you
That's a
do.
violent airtime moment.
And we also like janky but fun.
Yeah, janky but fun. Well, that's a lot of these roller coasters, I tell you what.
Oh my gosh, right? So, do we just want to kind of go through our list of 100-year-old coasters and kind of talk about them? Or,
Yeah, so the oldest one is the wild one, correct?
yes.
So let's start there.
Okay. So Wild One is, like I just said, a 1917 PTC Woody roller coaster. It was built at a different park and moved to Six Flags America, where me and Gabe rode it. It operated there from 1985 to, unfortunately, 2025. And it was designed by John A. Miller. So I mentioned him in the history section. He is the gentleman who gave us Upstop wheels. And he also designed a lot of these roller coasters.
Yes, he was like the go-to guy. John A. Miller, I is he also a Beast guy?
I don't
I
know.
believe he's a Beast. I think he's part of that.
Okay.
I think that's one of the last coasters he designed or something like that. Let's just look at his little thing here. So he worked for the PTC company in 1911 is when he started there. So that would be Giant Coaster, which is the one we're talking about now, known as Wild One.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it looks like he did a lot of different works and stuff here. It did say he lived in Cleveland, Ohio for some time. So, he only lived till 1941 though. So no, he is not part of the Beast.
I was gonna say I just looked it up and it wasn't him. So
No, I know the designer of the Beast is another famous one, so that's why I was like, wait a minute.
yep.
But the time periods just don't quite line up.
No.
So anyway, yes, this is his design. Sorry, I cut you off. Continue.
That's okay. That's okay. The other thing about this coaster is so it was originally designed by John A. Miller, but it was redesigned in 1932 after a fire by Herb Schmeck. I think that's how you say his name. And the Din Corp was the company that assisted in the move of the roller coaster over to Six Flags America. Now, the funny thing about how me and Gabe got our ride on this roller coaster is we went to Six Flags America to get me on Batwing. So,
Yes,
well, first
it
of
was our
all,
first visit there. It was.
yes. So it was our first visit to Six Flags America. We knew it was closing. They had announced that the park was closing, so we wanted to get there and on the rides themselves. But then they had a ride called Batwing, which was a Vekoma Flying Dutchman, which is like Vekoma's answer to the B&M Flyers. It's a
Well,
different
no, it's actually
version.
the predecessor.
Oh, okay. So
Yes,
predecessor.
the Vekoma Flying Dutchman actually comes before B&M's flying version,
Okay.
and it was the original. The original one might have been Batwing.
Oh.
So Batwing is a whole nother story because it was
Yeah.
built somewhere else, then it was moved, then it was located at Six Flags America where it wasn't taken care of.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a whole nother 20-minute conversation we're not going to get into right now.
Yeah.
But yes, that was the coaster that brought us to Six Flags America. Obviously, we wanted to get the credits before the park closed,
Yep.
and this was on the list of credits. But when we arrived there, it was closed for the entire day.
Yep. Wild One was closed for the entire day, and so was Batwing. So we did we look it up and see that it was open and decide to go back? Well, we also had to drive through DC to go to the next park that we were going to.
So we had Six Flags America,
Uh-huh.
and then we did King's Dominion down
Mhm.
in Richmond, Virginia, and then we did Busch Gardens Williamsburg in Williamsburg, Virginia. And then the next stop on our list was Kennywood. However, because of the distance from Virginia all the way over to basically Pittsburgh, we decided to turn that day, an entire day, into a drive day. We were like,
Yep.
this is too long to go to any park. There's not really. But the other thing too is we kind of hit everything on the way down heading into Williamsburg, Virginia. There wasn't anything really on the way other than the fact that we had to drive through Washington, D.C. to get over to Pittsburgh. That's how Google Maps routed us. That's how I planned the trip. So when we were at Busch Gardens, Williamsburg, I saw I think it was Facebook Reel
Mhm.
that Nighthawk was, or not Nighthawk, sorry, different coaster.
Yep.
Batwing was open. And I'm like, Sam, we have our passes that get us into this park. Basically, doesn't cost us anything. We get parking for free, blah, 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 blah. It'll take we could literally pull in, walk all the way to the back of the park, ride the roller coaster, and just leave. Like, who cares? It's not going to cost us anything, and it's on the way.
Exactly.
So then when we got there, we also discovered that Wild One was open. So we're like, well,
Yeah.
holy cow, we might get every single coaster at Six Flags America before it closes. What the heck? And
Yep.
we actually rode the Wild One first
Yep.
because when we got there, Batwing was closed again. That was the other thing too. We
Yeah.
got there, walked all the way to the back of the park, and it's closed.
Yep.
And we're like, God, it's gonna be one of those days, isn't it? So we
Yep.
hiked our butts over to Wild One, and then we rode it like 4 times, right? We rode it a bunch. I know we
We
rode it quite a
did.
bit.
I don't remember how many times, but we kind of lapped the coaster for a couple
Yeah.
times because we're like, there was no line.
And then we heard someone in the queue line go, Batwing is open. So then
Yep.
we immediately dropped everything, ran to that side of the park, and then we rode Batwing twice. I rode it 3 times. Sam was too sketched out for the third time.
It is a
And
sketchy ass roller coaster. Okay.
and that's
Okay.
how we got our credits for that amusement park. So it took
Yes.
2 different days to visit the park to get everything, but we
Yes.
got it.
Yes. What I remember from Wild One, it was actually a decent wooden roller coaster.
It was not rough
no.
at all. It was actually like, because so obviously Roar was the other wooden roller coaster in the park. That was terrible.
Yeah.
Terrible. It was not a great ride experience at all. So of course we're walking over to this thing and like it's older. It looks dilapidated. Like it looks like it was ready to fall over. Like
It looked like it should not have been operating.
yeah. And they literally were just working on it. So obviously there was some kind of issue.
Yeah.
And we got off of it. We both looked at each other like, that's like one of the better roller coasters in the park. Like, what the heck?
Actually, it was absolutely crazy because I was expecting like Screaming Eagle levels of rough out of this thing because it's like it's a 1917 wooden roller coaster that was at Six Flags America, and we'd been on other roller coasters at the park, and you're just kind of like, ooh, like Six Flags is bad, but Six Flags America was kind of like the bottom of the barrel, unfortunately.
It really was. And so obviously stepping into the seat of this thing, you're like, brace for everything. And it actually wasn't that bad. It really wasn't rough at all. It definitely has some really good airtime. So it's basically an out and back layout with a helix section to end it. And from what I remember, going out was kind of
Yeah.
Like the first drop was okay. The airtime moments were just too big and drawn out. And then I had the elevated turnaround. But what I remember is the return trip. You came off that elevated turnaround and you were flying, and everything was more compact and more like just the profiling was a little off, kind of like aero profiling, but not quite. And so you go through those airtime hills and you get actually good floater airtime. And then the helix section at the end was some really, really good laterals. It wasn't really a G-force type helix. It was more just like lack of banking. And so it gave you some really, really good lateral forces. It was a very enjoyable roller coaster, and I'm actually kind of sad to see it go. I'm just happy we got our rides on it before it closed.
Yes. So, and we got to marathon it for a little bit, which was awesome. I was about to say the same thing. I'm like, the airtime was decent. It had good G-forces, and like most old Woodies, it had no banking, which is added to every turn.
There's zero banking whatsoever.
I think that's a real like caveat. A lot of these wooden roller coasters is that like they have a weird profiling or no banking, which just adds to the experience of these guys.
All right, so now you get to get the technical side of things.
Yeah.
None of these coasters were computer designed and engineered. They didn't run simulations to see if the coaster was going to make it through the layout and whether it was going to like be suitable to ride. Literally back then it was like, all right, we're going to estimate everything. We're going to build it. We're going to test it. And if it works, we're just going to put people on it. That's all of the technology they had was just basically putting water dummies in the train. And if the train came back with all the water dummies, they opened it to the public. Like
good enough.
Yeah. As long as there's none of them sprung a leak and they're all still in their seats, send it. Like,
yeah.
Because that's just how it was back then. So you don't have computer design. You don't have the other thing too is you don't have like the heart lining.
Uh-huh.
for the banking. So all the banking always feels off. You don't have any of like the smoothing of the profiling that you would have on even modern wooden roller coasters
Mhm.
feature like smoothing profiling, and they're all and they're some of them are even built like in house and shipped to the freaking job site and assembled like Legos. Like that's how they
Mhm.
build Woodies now. And back then it was like, all right, we're gonna hire some professional wooden carpenters. They're gonna build this for us, and we're just gonna hope it works. Like, I mean, obviously they can do some calculations by hand and
Yeah,
figure
there's
out, you
math
know,
involved.
there is math involved, but it's very rudimentary compared to what I mean. If you like, they can literally in today they can simulate the
Oh,
roller
yeah.
coaster before it's ever even built, and
They'll
just
run
and
computer
tweak stuff. Yeah.
simulations, measure G forces that are applied not only to riders but the trains themselves. And they could probably calculate it down to like how much G's are actually on the wheels themselves, and they
Oh,
can really
100%.
like
And
down to the
obviously,
decimal point.
there's still like Maverick's a good example. They built the Heartline roll, and turns out it was too intense for the trains and it was too intense for the riders,
Yep.
so they took it out. But like, for the most part, that was just I mean, when they built the Heartline roll, they kind of already knew it
Yeah.
was going to be a problem. They were just trying different things. That's a whole nother Intamin box to open up.
Yeah.
Uh, but like, not back then when these coasters were being built, that didn't happen. It was
No.
just like, build it, test it, run
Yep. We're good.
it.
All right. So does that wrap up Wild One?
I think so. We kind of went on a whole.
Yeah,
That's
we do
that's
that.
that's my bad. I'll take responsibility for that one.
Do we want to just talk about Kennywood as a whole?
Yes,
The
let's
next
just do
one?
Kennywood as a whole, because there's
Okay.
basically three coasters. One of them's I mean, it's called. It's what, 99 years old or something like that. Like,
Yeah.
so yeah, let's go to Kennywood. So the three
Okay.
there that we're talking about are Jackrabbit, Racer, and Thunderbolt. Correct.
Yes.
Now, interesting little thing here. Thunderbolt will be in a future episode. I'm not going to tell you what episode. So we will go in depth on Thunderbolt because I really loved that roller coaster.
Mhm.
So we can kind of just do an overview of that one.
Okay.
But the oldest one is Jackrabbit, correct?
Yes.
So Jackrabbit was constructed in 1920. Is this another John A. Miller? Yes, it
Yes, it is.
is. And this was the first coaster to feature a what was it? I remember we read the thing. Do you remember what it was?
Wait, what?
It was the first coaster to feature a airtime hill, parabolic airtime hill, or something like that.
I think so. Oh my gosh, I can't remember what the
I
slide
don't
said. I'm just start
remember.
taking pictures of them.
I know. Oh, I have a picture of it. Here we go.
Okay. Well, Gabe is reading that to look up Jackrabbit. So something I wanted to say was with a lot of these older wooden roller coasters, like we were talking about with Leap the Dips. Leap the Dips is considered a National Historical Landmark. So another coaster we're going to talk about is listed on the National Register of Historical Places. Well, with Kennywood, because there is so much history, instead of being a single ride, the entire park is listed as a National Historical Landmark. And what I did not realize about like National Historical Landmarks, so this other roller coaster, like I was talking about, is listed on the National Register of Historical Places, which is different than being designated a National Historical Landmark. Only about 3% of places listed on that register are designated a National Historical Landmark, which means it's like a little bit more, I don't know, more important or significant or something. But
Basically, they can't be taken down, right? Like
yeah,
they had, and that's why I believe Leap the Dips is still technically standing,
probably. They're
because
federally
it is.
protected.
Yeah, they're federally protected. They can't be, even if they're not being used or nobody's even visiting them, they still cannot be physically torn down.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of red tape and hoops you got to jump through to do anything like that. And even then, like, I don't know that they'd let you tear it down.
Yeah,
So,
so it's talking about the double down is
okay.
actually what was like. It's the upstop wheels, because
Okay.
that's what Jackrabbit was. It says Featuring 4 drops into a natural ravine, Jackrabbit is best known for its signature airtime producing 68-foot 6-inch double dip following an uncommon mid-course lift hill. And then it talks about John Miller and Harry Baker. Funny little side note, it was only built for $50,000, which I find absolutely hilarious.
I could buy a roller coaster in the 1920s for the price of my car?
Yeah. But this is what it says. It was the park's first coaster. Oh, the park's first coaster.
Okay.
Sorry. So not the original one, but it was the park's first coaster to feature Miller's patented and revolutionary under friction wheels, also known as upstop wheels in today's day and age, which locked the train to the track, allowing for steeper and more daring drops than previously possible.
Oh, that's cool. Which, can we talk about that double down for a second?
Oh, it's insane.
It's
and
actually dumb.
There's technically not really a restraint for this roller coaster either, which also needs to be mentioned.
Okay, let's pause here. So I've talked about buzz bars before because we've ridden some coasters with them, and it is technically a bar that comes down and then just kind of stops. This thing doesn't even have that. It's just a random bar that you have to like squeeze your butt under.
It's a solid metal bar.
Yes.
And so to get into the train, it kind of like goes across your lap, but then like cuts off so you can like still get in the seat.
Yeah.
And yes, it is. It literally does not move. It's a fixed bar.
Yes.
And it is not a restraint. Are there seatbelts on it?
I'm pretty sure there is not.
No?
You know what? In this day and age, there probably is.
I think there's at least a seatbelt on it. Yeah. Otherwise, like, you could literally go flying out of this thing. I'm sure.
Especially with all the little kids that probably ride this thing. Yeah. Oh, there has to be a seatbelt.
I'm pretty sure there was a seatbelt. Yeah. But other than that, but even the seatbelt, if you loosen it all the way up, it's not doing anything. Like,
no.
It's just not.
So this thing is ridiculous. It's definitely better in the back row, like most any other 100%. Roller coaster. But we rode it, and we were just like, I got lifted, literally actually lifted physically out of my seat, and it was actually kind of crazy because I was not ready.
You actually have to hang on. You actually have to grab that bar and like pull yourself into the train. Otherwise, like,
if I had, I probably would have sat on Gabe.
Yeah.
Accident.
Absolutely.
So yeah, and like the line is not super long, and I think this one has the old friction brakes where it's like the slide things or whatever. So that's cool to see in the station. It's so much fun. You have to ride it. Like
this Kennywood as a whole.
Oh,
is just
yes.
Great amusement park. It really is, and it has two of the best. So like, the bottom of the lineup is really cool just because like of the historical aspect and the Woodies and just the funness. And then you have 2 top tier steel coasters at the top of the lineup. It's just it's a must visit. Kennywood, on paper, when you look at the lineup, you're like, why would I come here and visit?
What even?
Yeah. Kennywood is a must visit destination. It is not even a drive through destination. Like, I guess if I'm going here and I'm driving through Pittsburgh, I'll stop. No, it is a park you should go out of your way to visit. It is worth it.
I also want to mention, because we haven't talked about it a lot, and if you approve some of my future episode ideas, we'll get to talk about it. They also have one of the best themed indoor roller coasters that's just a spinning wild mouse, but the theming makes this ride. Exterminator was really cool.
Yes, that is true. I even forgot about that coaster.
I know. Yeah. I'm the theming queen, and I liked it a lot, so that's why I was like, it was a lot of fun. It was really cool.
Yeah, for sure. So then let's move off of Jackrabbit because that's the oldest. So then the next one would be Thunderbolt. Am I correct on that?
Yes.
All right. So
isn't that kind of crazy to think about that Racer is technically younger than Thunderbolt?
Honestly, that makes sense though, because the Racer actually has PTC trains, doesn't it?
Yeah, actually, now that you say that.
Yeah, so that checks out. And it's technically a racing coaster. I feel like that's a little bit more of a modern thing.
Yeah, maybe. That's a good point.
Thunderbolt opened in 1924. The original, but it wasn't called Thunderbolt, correct?
No, it was called Pippin.
It was called Pippin?
Yeah.
That's kind of funny. Oh, yeah, Pippin. From 1924 to 1967. This is a John A. Miller design, correct?
I don't actually know that for sure. I think Pippin was.
Pippin, the original Pippin was, but
Yeah.
obviously not the redesign.
Yes.
So yeah, it says Pippin opened in 1924, and then in 1968 is when it was redesigned, added to the layout, and then opened as the modern version. Well, 68 modern version of Thunderbolt.
Yes.
And I love the trains on this thing.
The trains are
I
so
love them.
cool.
I don't know what they are or who made them, but they literally looked like, you know how we were talking about in the last episode, like the backyard welder?
Yep.
That's what it looks like. It looks
Oh,
like,
yeah.
and it kind of reminds me of, I don't know, this is a weird thing, of the Iron Giant.
Yeah.
Doesn't it? Doesn't it a little bit? Just that
though.
style, just the style of the Iron Giant. You know what I mean?
Yes.
It's just a very unique design to the trains. And then now this is the train where you have to put the heavier rider on the outside. I don't remember what it was.
I think it's the outside.
Helix. It's because of the Helix section, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
But to have a coaster where they have to tell you where the heavier rider has to sit is hilarious.
Yeah. Yes, that is.
And then I don't know if these are technically buzz bars, but this is another one where it's this one actually moves at least, but it's one bar over the whole seat. So like, and I think it comes to just a point and stops, right?
I think so.
Yeah. I can't remember if it was hitting your legs or not because I'm a smaller person than Gabe. So if we sit in a train like this, inevitably it's going to be.
I think it's like a buzz bar design. Well, so here's what I was going to read to you. So this is the National Historic District sign. Apparently, there's another thing for this. Once named the King of Coasters by the New York Times, the Thunderbolt opened in 1968. Its unique design uses the first two and last two dips of the Pippin. So I was actually completely wrong. I thought the Helix section was the original. No, it's actually the drops.
Dang.
And then it says with the lift hill structure and Helix turns added in 1968. But, however, the trains also from the Pippin are still in use today. So the trains are original from 1924, which explains why they look the way they do.
Oh, they're so cool. I love them so much.
That is awesome. So yeah, I was actually completely 100% wrong. The Helix is actually the additional part of it.
Yes. And this is a really good overall wooden coaster. It's got the laterals, it's got airtime. It is an awesome ride.
The first two drops become before the lift hill, right?
Yes. Yeah, because it
you drop right out of the station. I guess that does make sense.
Let's look up a POV.
Now. I know. Jesus, we're struggling.
POV.
I'm trying to look through the pictures. I see a lot of pictures of the Helix.
Yeah, because it drops you right into the
right out of the station.
Right out of the station.
That's right. And those, so because it drops you out of the station, and then you pop up, you turn around, and then you drop down again into that valley, and then that's when you go up the lift hill.
Yep.
So, and then you go around the Helix twice. And then you turn, and then you drop into the valley a third time, and then you pop up into the higher turnaround, and then you drop back down, and then you come back around to the final brakes.
Yeah. So.
Got it. Now I know what we're doing. So that, okay, now, so those 4 drops in the valley, no, just the first and second drop out of the station are original. Yep. Because then the rest of it is what was added.
Yes.
So
Could you imagine that?
Did it not have a lift hill originally?
Maybe it didn't. Maybe it just circled around back into the station.
So
I wish we could find pictures of it.
Yeah. So it never. Well, it did say the lift hill was added. So yeah, this is a roller coaster when it originally was built that didn't have a lift hill. That's insane.
That is insane. That's so cool.
That is so cool. Thunderbolt's an absolutely awesome coaster. I will say this. Of the 3 Woodies in this park, Thunderbolt's by far the best.
Yes. Yes.
The Helix section in the beginning is really good for the laterals. It is actually so good. That's why they make you sit the heavier rider on the one side of the train. Otherwise, you would absolutely crush them.
Yes.
And then the airtime too. Like, so from what I remember, the drop right out of the station is really the best.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
And then it's the drop out of the station, and then it's the drop after the mid course that
Yep.
are the two best drops on the roller coaster, and you get legitimate airtime. Like it's
Yeah.
actual airtime.
It is actually crazy, which is awesome.
All right, we are at the 40-minute mark, so we got to get the ball
Oh,
rolling.
Jesus. This is what happens. We get so rambly. Okay.
So then the
Well,
third roller coaster at
yeah.
Kennywood would be Racer, which opened in 1927. Now this is a PTC coaster, but it is still a John A. Miller coaster.
Yep.
So this is when he worked for PTC.
Yes. So
Got it. Because this coaster actually has PTC trains.
Yeah.
It's the 3-row classic PTC train style.
Yeah. What was really cool about this one, and I did not realize, and Gabe had to explain to me, is that a lot of racing roller coasters, they have their own separate tracks. Where with this one, you have the two stations that are next to each other, and when you go through one side of the roller coaster, you end up, it's like a giant loop because you end up pulling into the other station.
Yes.
So we had to ride both sides of this roller coaster to technically get the full credit, which I was like, this is the first one I've ever ridden like that. That's really cool.
Yeah, so it's technically considered a Mobius loop racing coaster. And basically the unique thing about these roller coasters is like most racing coasters, you get 2 credits, right?
Yep.
So you get 1 credit for one side, 1 credit for the other, because it's actually 2 separate circuits. Where the Racer, in order to get the credit for the entire roller coaster, you actually have to ride both sides, and you only get 1 credit because it's one continuous loop from one station to the next. So if you start out on, we'll call it the left side of the station, you actually arrive on the right side of the station and vice versa. So you have to ride, quote unquote, both sides to get the full credit.
Yes, which is very cool. After riding it, this one wasn't anything too crazy. We thought the one side was better than the other, but even then it was a lot of fun to ride. Like I wouldn't skip it or anything, but believe it or not, I thought Jackrabbit and Thunderbolt were both better.
Yeah, well, this is definitely more of the family coaster side of things. Obviously, Jackrabbit is meant to be a family coaster, but just because of the way it was designed and everything, it has a little bit more extreme forces, where the Racer definitely is toned down quite a bit. The other thing I will say is that the Racer is a lot better when you're actually racing the other train.
Yeah.
And the problem where that comes in is like, because obviously both sides have to dispatch at the same time, and B, it's not the most popular coaster at Kennywood. Unless both trains are full, you kind of lose out on that racing aspect, which makes the coaster so good. So then you're more focused on the forces, which just are kind of
Yep. We find that with a lot of racing coasters is that because they were designed to be racing coasters, when you lose that racing element, they're not quite as good.
Yeah, absolutely. And so that, like, again, it's a really cool roller coaster. The history aspect, please ride it. Just be going into it expecting a 100% a family coaster. It's not a throw coaster by any means.
Yes. So with that kind of wraps up Kennywood. Although
does it? There's one more, and it's not a roller coaster.
I was just about to correct myself. So we have one more to talk about. And totally like complete side note, because we, Gabe, are like, we like the history and stuff. I actually read the sign for this one. And then when we went over to Thunderbolt to ride it, I think again, we'd already ridden it. It was like, quote unquote, broken down for a minute or two. And so they were doing trivia, and I knew the answer to this question. And I felt so smart.
Yes.
Anyways. Go ahead, because I don't have any info on this.
Okay, so the Old Mill Ride, the original, opened in 1902, and this is basically, we'll call it like a tunnel of love ride. It's basically you get in a boat, you go around, you get out of the boat. That's literally all it is. But it's just really, really cool because it opened in 1902, and it's actually the oldest operating ride that me and Sam have ever ridden. Now, obviously, it's seen a lot of different variations over this. Actually, I was wrong, by the way. It was 1901, not 1902.
Okay.
So that ride is basically also like 130 years old almost. That's just
Yeah.
insane that it's still running. Um,
Yes.
but the funny part about this story is me and Sam were not even aware of the ride, but because when we got there and it was pouring out and everything was closed, this was the only thing operating
Yeah. Yeah.
because it was all indoor. So
Yep.
that's the first ride we actually rode at Kennywood, and it was indeed the oldest ride that me and Sam have ever been on. So it's just kind of like a little honorable mention. Yes, it's not a roller coaster, but it's still at a theme park, and it was. I thought it was pretty neat. Obviously, it was very, very cheesy because like you could just tell everything was very old, and
Yeah.
you could tell like the theming has been like updated, but it was like updated in 1957 or something like that.
Yeah.
It just was not good. But it's just a cool little piece of history to add to this episode.
Exactly. All right. So that does wrap up Kennywood. So I figure the next one that we should go into is what I think actually is both of our first 100-year-old credit, which is, if we don't count Zip and Pippin, which we'll get to, is Roller Coaster at
Oh, I
Lagoon.
was wondering which one you were gonna go with. I was like,
Yeah.
you could go either way. Yeah, roller coaster Atlas the Good.
Yep. And
Um,
this is an in-house, and it was designed by John Miller.
it is a John Miller.
Yep.
All right. Sorry, I'm trying to
You're
pull
fine.
it
I'll
up.
I'll go here for
I
a little
type in
second.
roller coaster and it just brings me up 457 roller coaster. Like
Yeah.
that's not.
So Roller Coaster was built in 1921 as an in-house build, but designed by John A. Miller. And this guy was designated an ACE landmark in 2005, listed on the National Register of Historical Places in 2012. So like we said before, you heard that right, this roller coaster is technically protected by the federal government. And a small note here, because this roller coaster has seen so much history, it is 100 years old. In 1953, a fire destroyed the station and the lift hill, which had to then be rebuilt.
Yes.
And Gabe liked this more than I did. I was not
I
a huge
loved
fan.
this ride. I thought it was very, very good for being built in 1921.
Yes.
This roller coaster also has the added benefit of no longer running PTC trains. Actually, the funniest part about this roller coaster is it has ran like 4 different variations of trains,
Oh,
and they have
really?
all. Yeah, it have. Because I remember standing in the station because they had that whole. Because so when we got there, it was like the 100-year anniversary, right?
Yeah, it
Right?
was.
So
Yep.
they redid the station and they put up this big timeline, and basically the
Hmm.
whole back wall of the station was the timeline of this roller coaster. And yeah, this is when it opened, then it burned down. Also, it like burned down like 3 different times apparently, which I thought
Yeah.
was hilarious. Like
Yeah.
you think after the first one they would have figured something out, but whatever.
Right.
But yeah, they had all of the different variations because it did have so the trains that were on Thunderbolt, the same trains were actually on this coaster originally. In the
Yes.
picture, you
Yep.
can see it. So they had those, they had the PTCs, then they had a different variation of the PTCs, and now it runs I think it's the Millennium Flyer trains by GCI,
I
the
think so.
articulated with the individual row train things, or each row is an individual car,
Yep.
basically. And so that was just kind of neat when you saw all the pictures and you got to see all the different trains. And then it started with the black and white. The other thing is too is this roller coaster has had many different names, and most people refer to it as white roller coaster because I guess that's for some reason that's the name the locals picked.
Mm-hmm.
Even though obviously it's just called roller coaster and it's also not white anymore.
Yeah. Which is
So
funny.
that's just kind of like an interesting little fun fact that if you talk to like the locals who know this roller coaster, they'll call it the white roller coaster.
This guy was a
I don't
lot
know.
of
I thought,
fun. It really
yeah,
was.
it's definitely not
So,
an intense, like stat monster by any means. I
no.
still think like Thunderbolt was better, but like I
Yeah.
thought this was better. So like Thunderbolt was better, Wild One was better. Another one I don't think we've talked about yet, Zip and Pippin, that's better.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but like it was still better than some of like the like roller coaster. It was better than that. Jackrabbit, it was better than that.
Yep.
It's kind of like that
Yeah.
in between. It's not really a family coaster, but it's not really a thrill coaster either. It's like that really
Yes.
kind of, depending on who rides it, they'll tell you what it is because
Yeah.
it could go either way depending on your tolerance for forces and your tolerance for thrill.
Yes. So the last one on our list that we have to talk about, I've mentioned it a couple times now here, is the Zippin' Pippin at Bay Beach
Yes.
in Green Bay,
Yes, this
Wisconsin.
is our baby.
Yes. Oh my gosh. So part of it is because obviously me and Gabe are from Wisconsin. Green Bay is only like a 40-minute drive from our house. We used to go to Bay Beach when we were little kids,
One of the
and
few roller coasters we rode the year it opened. That's
yes, actually.
kind of a cool little thing. So well, I
Yeah.
don't know if I did. Was I tall enough?
I bet you
I
were.
bet I
You
was.
had to have
Yeah,
been.
2011. I would
So
have been 10 years old. Ooh, I don't know. I would have. I know you rode it the year it opened. I'm just trying to figure out if
yeah.
I did or not. If not, it had to have been like the year after, maybe 2012,
Yeah.
something like that. I'll just say I wrote it the year it opened, and nobody will question it, right?
Exactly. Nobody can prove you wrong. I The fun thing about Bay Beach is it is like, of all the small parks that we talk about that feel like a county fair, this one probably feels the most like the
This
county
is a
fair.
county fair. This is like a permanent county fair that was like, you know what?
Yes.
We need a roller coaster as well.
Yes. So, and to really speak to that, you can't even like quote unquote buy a ticket to get in there. They run on a ticket system for each of their rides, and to ride the roller coaster, it is 4 tickets or $1.
Yes.
So, as far as I know, it's still 25 cents per
I
ticket. It
haven't
might have
been up.
gone
I
up
was gonna say
now.
I haven't been up there, and it's we
Oh,
need. I need to do that this summer. I have to make it a point to get back up and ride this thing.
yeah.
But yeah, we haven't been up there. Geez, 2019 was probably the last time I was up there, so
Yeah, I don't
it
know. I
might
went
have
up
gone
one
up.
time.
Here, let's
Yeah.
go to their website. Keep talking.
Okay. So the reason what we call Zippin' Pippin like an honorable mention is because, like you heard from Gabe, it was built in like 2012 at Bay Beach, but the original Zippin' Pippin was built in 1923. It was a PTC roller coaster designed by John A. Miller, and it was built down in Tennessee, and its like claim to fame is that it was Elvis Presley's favorite
Okay,
roller coaster.
so the tickets are
Go
still
ahead.
25 cents each.
Okay.
Going to the Zippin' Pippin is now 6 tickets. It's $1.50 now. They did raise
Oh,
it. It's no
okay.
longer a
So
dollar.
that's what they did.
Yes.
But still, I mean, you could buy $20 worth of tickets and just like lap this roller coaster if you really wanted to. And the roller coaster is quote unquote the most expensive one to ride. They have like a giant slide there that's like 3 tickets.
Two.
I know they have the Ferris
The giant
wheel.
slide is 2. The helicopters are 2.
Okay.
The train is 2. The Ferris wheel is 2. The tilt-a-whirl is 4. The scrambler is 4. The bumper
Okay.
cars are 4, and the big. What's the difference between the big wheel? Oh, the big wheel. Sorry. Wait. Big wheel, Ferris wheel. What's the difference?
Did they get another Ferris wheel that we didn't know about?
No idea.
I don't
I'm
know.
confused.
Unless is the big wheel that one that spins you really fast? No, that's the scat,
That's
isn't
the
it?
scat.
Okay.
That's also 4 tickets.
Okay. I don't know then.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not
I
sure.
don't know either.
Is the big wheel maybe the
Oh,
merry-go-round?
there is 2 Ferris wheels. There's the smaller Ferris wheel, which has this like the 4 seating across, and then the
Yeah.
big wheel is like with the cabins with the roof over it. There is technically 2. I forgot
Oh.
about that. So yeah, the big wheel is
Okay.
4, the taller
You see,
one.
it's been a while since we've been there,
Yes,
guys.
it is. It has been a while since we've been there. The trains were always my thing. I don't know. I like the
Yeah.
trains. I thought that was
The trains are so much
the
fun,
neatest little thing.
honestly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're
Oh my
mini
gosh, when we
trains, by the way.
yeah. Yes. Very
They
small
do
trains.
have a very good track for that. Like it goes quite a long time.
Yes. Yes. It's probably another reason why our parents like taking us on it
Yes.
because it wasted so much time.
So we do have an episode on the Zip and Pippin, don't we?
Yes. I don't remember which one it was
Is that
though.
the one where we did Zip and Pippin American Eagle?
I honestly do not remember.
So
I do know that we have an
if it's
episode.
that episode, I believe it's Nostalgia Factor, and I believe it's a
Okay.
season 2 episode.
Okay.
So that one we can actually recommend people to go listen to.
Yes. Yes. Please go listen to that one. Don't go listen to season 1. Just don't do that to
Yes.
yourself.
But with that, we are at the 55-minute mark. I think we should
Okay.
wrap this up. So
Okay, so I had a couple honorable mentions that weren't quite 100 years old, but definitely some of
Yes.
the oldest roller coasters that we've ridden. So my list comes out to Comet at Hershey Park, which was a 1946 PTC roller coaster designed by Herbert Schmeck. And I had the honor of riding it with the original Buzz Bars. Unfortunately, when we got there back with Gabe, they had replaced it with
The
either.
actual ratcheting lap bar and seatbelt.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
To be safer.
Unfortunately. Exactly, I guess.
We
The
disagree.
other
Can you
one,
tell?
yeah, right. The next one is Blue Streak, which is a 1964 PTC that at Cedar Point, but where this one is super important is it kind of began Cedar Point's roller coaster
Yes.
legacy.
That is very true.
So the next one is Comet at Waldemere, which was a
Oh, I
1951
forgot about that
PTC.
little guy.
Yeah, I was looking through the list and I'm like, I gotta mention him because he was just a tiny little powerhouse guy at Waldemere. He's so cute, little fun roller coaster. It was so much fun to ride.
Definitely
So
worth a trip on that ride. Definitely.
yes. And then also at Waldemere, I wanted to mention the original Ravine Flyer that existed from 1922 to
Oh,
1938.
yeah.
So we didn't get to ride the original, but we did get to ride Ravine Flyer 2, which is kind of the modern rebuilt incarnation of this roller coaster. But what I found absolutely hilarious when I was doing research for that episode was the fact that the road that goes under Ravine Flyer 2 did not exist when Ravine Flyer 1 was
Yeah, that
built.
is kind of funny.
And then they wanted to build the road, and Waldemere was like, sure, go ahead. We're just going to put our roller coaster on stilts. And it ran for like 10
Yeah,
years
that's
like
right.
that.
Because they're just like, we'll just figure it out. Like, we have an operating roller coaster here. Don't worry. We'll figure it out.
Yeah,
You just
we got
build
it.
your road and we'll take apart the roller coaster where it needs to go. And,
Yeah. So I just wanted to honorable mention that guy
yeah,
real
that is
quick.
funny, actually.
Yeah. So that is basically 100-year-old roller coasters, especially the ones that we have been
Yeah,
on.
for
It
sure.
is
We've actually
crazy.
gotten a
Go ahead.
lot of them. I didn't realize that.
Right? I know. I was going through the list and I'm like, dang, we've actually ridden a lot of them. So roller coaster history is really amazing, especially when we think about where we are today and the like crazy, insane thrill machines that we do have to get our adrenaline fixes on. So it is cool to kind of like look back and see where we started. And the fact that you can still ride some of them today is actually insane.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. So, closing up our episode here today, we like to get into our schedule. So, after our special episode here today, we have three. We have
We
three
had
battles
3.
episodes. Yeah. So, our next episode coming up is going to be coasters that have moved up in our rankings for 2025. So, coasters that me and Gabe have gotten rides on this year and have improved our opinions of them.
Well, your coaster is actually the first ride for me.
Yes.
But that is cool because the last time we did do this coaster already. But the last time we did it, I had not gotten a ride experience on it. So that'll be a really neat just to see my take on it as well.
Yeah. Yes. So, and then our episode after that is what we're calling our RCDB challenge. Now, I said this in the last episode, but I'll kind of keep reiterating in case we have new people that have not heard us. RCDB is rollercoasterdatabase.com. It is a website me and Gabe used during our research. It gives us a lot of the basic stats on a roller coaster. And whenever you load up the website, you get a random roller coaster. And so we basically refreshed that page until we both got one that we had ridden already. So it is going
Also,
to be
I
one of
won
the.
because it only took me 38 times and it took you
It took me
53 times.
Yeah, ridiculous.
That's because you
so
get a bunch
mad.
of random Asian roller coasters that existed from like for 4 years and then were torn down. So you're just like clicking through like, nope, not even in the US, not even in the US. Like that's how I did it. I was like, nope, not the US, not the US. Oh, this one's in the US, but I haven't ridden it. All right, keep going.
So at the same time, that is going to be one of our most random matchups, I think, ever.
Very good one though. 2 coasters that are obviously different but similar. I really actually I think I said this in the last episode. This is going to be the closest matchup we've had in a long time on our podcast. I think like this is going to come down to the end of the episode and we're still probably going to be deciding which one's the winner.
because they were both really
Yes,
good.
in their
So
own special ways.
yeah, exactly. So, and then the battle episode coming after that is what we're calling fun size, or roller
Yeah.
coasters under 100 feet tall. So, and this is going to be
Oh,
fun.
that'll
This
be a
really
very
is.
fun. I do appreciate you finally slotted a coaster in that one. And I really
I took
appreciate the one you
forever.
picked, though. Like, that's a
I had to
coaster we haven't
go.
mentioned at all.
Yeah, I know. So I was like, I was scrolling through and I'm like, oh my God, how have I not done an episode on this? Because I did love the roller
You love
coasters.
that thing
So,
so much.
oh, so much. I really do. I love me a Schwarzkopf. And that
Yeah.
does not give away what it is. So don't yell at me.
No, honestly, there's a lot of different Schwarzkopfs out there.
Yes. So thank you, everybody, for listening, and join us next week for coasters that have moved up in the rankings.
And I hope you guys all have a great day.